If you want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. The family of a Florida woman who passed away last year during a cosmetic procedure is seeking justice. Her name is Janisha Jayla Williams, age 26, and she was pronounced deceased in October of 2021 after not waking up from anesthesia she was given prior to the operation, which took place at Best You Know, a cosmetic surgery center in Plantation, Florida. It has since been discovered that the doctor who administered the anesthesia was medically restricted from doing so. According to Williams's mother, Latasha Leggett, her and her daughter traveled from Hillsborough County to Best You Know on October 20th of 2021 for the procedure, which included a breast augmentation and a Brazilian butt lift. Leggett, who was sitting in the waiting room while her daughter was in surgery, recalls repeatedly inquiring about the status of her daughter's procedure, only to be assured that the operation was going well. Quote, I asked every hour, how's my daughter doing? How are things going? And they kept telling me she's okay and everything is fine. However, as time continued to pass and other patients gradually exited the facility, the mother became increasingly worried, even more so when an ambulance blaring its sirens arrived at Best You Know. The mother states that that is when and only when she knew that her daughter's body was being rolled out of the facility on a stretcher that she was informed of her daughter's passing. Quote, the ambulance pulled up. That's when I stated, excuse me, can somebody tell me what's going on? They politely grabbed me and stated, your daughter has passed. According to a report from the Boward Medical Examiner's Office, the cosmetic procedure was completed, but Williams never regained consciousness from the anesthesia given to her. Her cause of death was listed as undetermined. According to Dr. Edward Neese, the designated physician for Best You Know, Dr. Millicent Murray, who gave Williams the anesthesia, was restricted from sedating patients due to a prior unrelated complaint. In response to Williams's death, Best You Know has had multiple administrative complaints filed against the facility and Dr. Neese by the Florida Health Department. As part of their complaint, the FHD has asked that Best You Know's registration be either suspended or revoked and that Dr. Neese be penalized. No arrests have been made in relations to Williams's death. Miss Williams leaves behind two young children, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, both of whom the mother states have yet to comprehend their mother's passing. She said, quote, it's hard. They ask if they can go to heaven to see their mom. They don't understand. How dangerous is BBL surgery? Aside from healing, it's the actual surgery itself that concerns some. In 2018, the American Society of Plastic Surgeons estimated that the BBL death rate was 1 in 3,000, making it a rate of death far greater than any other cosmetic surgery. A BBL gone wrong can be fatal, with a 2015 study concluding that deaths are likely caused by damage to blood vessels during surgery, which allows fat to enter the bloodstream. The fat embolism causes a blockage of blood flow, which in some cases proves fatal. The risk of a Brazilian butt lift surgery. Every surgery comes with a risk, but the BBL is particularly controversial due to the accounts of deaths associated with the surgery. A 2017 report surveyed 692 surgeons from around the world and found that 3% or about 21 of them experienced a patient death following the BBL. The researchers of this study concluded that significantly higher mortality rates seem to be associated with BBL-like surgeries than any other cosmetic surgery. Also to note, according to a 2020 report, the average mortality rate for outpatient cosmetic surgeries is 0.25 through 0.50 per 100,000 procedures. One of the major risks of BBLs is fat embolism. This is when fat enters the bloodstream, moves through the blood vessels, and eventually causes a blockage of lungs that can be fatal. Stats on anesthesia-related injuries and deaths. During surgery, patients are generally given some of the anesthesia, which is administered by an anesthesiologist. The anesthesia could be local, which stops the sense of pain in a particular part of the body or region, which covers a large portion. There are also spinal and epidural anesthesia. Millions of Americans safely undergo surgery with anesthesia every year. However, other patients don't fare as well. According to a study published in the Journal of Healthcare Risk Management, the most frequent reported anesthesia related injuries are teeth damage, death, nerve damage, organ damage, and cardiopulmonary arrest. A Columbia University study found that there were 2,211 anesthesia related deaths in the United States over the 7-year period, according to the National Institute of Health. Anesthesia complications were the underlying cause in 241, or 10.9% of those deaths. Of those 241 deaths with anesthesia as the underlying cause of the deaths, 79.7% resulted from adverse effects of anesthesia and therapeutic use, 19.1% from those anesthesia complications during pregnancy, labor, or puerperium, and 1.2% from wrongly placed endotracheal tubes. Complications related to anesthesia were a contributing factor in the remaining 1,970, or 89.1% of those deaths. So, this is the culture that we are currently in at the moment in time. We are at a culture, at a point when you have women that will tell other women that it is okay to get your body done. You should go out there and get your body done. Don't be happy or, fine with whatever it is that God gave you, because obviously God makes mistakes and God isn't perfect. He doesn't know what he was doing. So go out there and, be a God yourself and, do a few alterations and, a few changes. Even though when everything is said and done at the end of the day, when you go wherever you're supposed to go, that body that you made for yourself, it's not going to be there. It's not going to go with you. All of those surgeries, all of those alterations that you did, that's not going to go with you. But like I said, everything is just for happiness and is for a selfish gain. It's in order to get that attention. It's to quote unquote feel better about oneself. Even though one could feel better about themselves once they take a life journey and they figure out more about themselves. They accept themselves, because that's the real problem. You have a lot of women out here who deflect and don't want to take acceptance or accountability for the fact that beyond whatever it is that the world is telling them, they themselves are not the ones that fully 100% accepts them. A woman can literally look in the mirror and state, a whole variety of things. And at the end of the day, all of those things that she stated about herself is a straight lie, because she does not 100% believe those things. A man can literally be with his wife or his girlfriend or even a friend, and he can stand there with her in the mirror and tell her, "What do you see?" And the main things that women will do initially is tear themselves down, because the mirror is the greatest reflection of self. And it's not the outside that the mirror is specifically reflecting. It's everything that that person feels about themselves internally. And because a person feels a certain way about themselves internally, it's then going to reflect through that mirror and go onto the physical being of that person. Now, it might not physically show for all of us to see, but it physically shows enough for that person that has to see themselves every single day. That's what they're going to be looking at. That's what they're going to be looking into. That's what they're going to be talking to. And as I stated before, a lot of women need to figure out how it is that they should love themselves. A lot of women don't know, because they themselves have never actually been loved. They've been told that, hey, love you. Hey, I love this. Hey, love that. A woman has never actually been told that I love the value that you have as a woman. I love the fact that you carry yourself a certain type of way. I love the fact that you do not falter on your beliefs or how it is that you automatically deem and value yourself. I love the fact that you are you. You try not to change yourself and try not to be anybody else just so that you can fit in just so that you can get all of that admiration and that attention that that other woman is getting. And that's the other problem too. A lot of women out here think admiration and attention is the same thing as love, and it's not. A lot of women out here feel that if a guy sexually desires them, right? Or a guy physically wants their body, that that is a form of love, and it's not. And this is yet again another reason why you have a lot of women out here messed up in the head. This is why you have a lot of women out here going from guy to guy to guy to guy to guy, bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship. And this is why you have a lot of women going out here to these surgeries, to these surgery facilities in order to get a sense of love, a sense of validation, so that they can get the things that they feel that they need, but it isn't an actual need, it's just a want. And this is another reason why it is that you don't have a lot of women speaking on this specifically and trying to dissect that whole thing to stop young girls from going out and making the exact same mistakes, or potentially losing their lives by going out here chasing a false sense of beauty, this false standard that is present and that is directly out here. But like I said, what do I know? I'm just a black guy at the end of the day, and all I do is just critique and badmouth black women. So again, don't pay no mind to whatever it is that I'm saying. I'm just a man at the end of the day.